Good morning, January 17th. Moving right along here. So, sun shining today, man. We've had some rainy weather here in California, so it's nice to see the sun shining. Just kind of changes your whole perspective. So, it's amazing what a change in the weather can do. So, yesterday was talking about how positioning yourself can be a really good way to produce an effect. I talked about airplanes, by themselves can only go a certain speed. You catch the jet stream, it may be going 50, 100. Sometimes it goes 200. Sometimes you can increase your airspeed by 200 miles an hour. Sometimes depending on what airplane you're in, double the speed that you're going. So, with that being said, I told you yesterday I'm going to give you a few little analogies this week that'll help you realize how simple you can create an effect that can be significant. So when I first started doing this many, many years ago, and I really started to realize that we don't make things happen, we trigger things to happen. And what I mean by what I mean by that is we create experiences, and how those experiences have an effect on us depends on how things turn out, So, in a sense, we just need to create experiences that trigger ourselves to define ourselves in a certain way. Identity is a big deal. So many years ago, I was like studying this stuff, and I'm like, what can I do that would really, really have an impact on me, would really allow me to see that this is a thing, that this is powerful, that we can really make some traction here. So I wanted to do something simple. So I got thinking about it. I was like, what is something that I would like to change that's really simple? And I got thinking about it. I'm like, man, I get terrible parking places all the time. No matter where I go, I get terrible parking places. So I was like, how could I create an experience that could change that? And I was thinking about it, and me and my wife used to go to the grocery store on Sundays. I'd sit in the parking lot. I'm always working on something. So I was like, man, what if I take that time and just circle the parking lot until a good spot opens? And when that good spot opens, park, and instead of focusing on the time it took to get the spot, I'm just going to look at it as, man, I'm the guy that gets a great parking spot now. And I did that first few weeks, nothing significant, but I kept my focus, kept my attention on it. And after about 6 weeks of doing it, we'd be driving around town, and I started to notice it. I was like, parking spots are starting to change. And then it really hit me when we got around Christmas time, and it really started to kind of freak me out. I'd be driving through a parking lot that's slammed, and then all of a sudden you're getting to a great spot, and somebody's pulling out. And I'm like, okay, coincidence, whatever. And then it started happening again and again and again. And this week we were out here, and I got one of the riders I'm working with staying with us, and he's been going to dinner with us and stuff. And man, it still happens to this day. It's crazy. It's never changed. That's been 10, 15, 20 years ago. And we were out and went to the store and went to a few other places, went to eat, and it just kept, every place we'd go, there was an upfront parking place, and he's like, that's pretty crazy. So it was really crazy. We was at Texas Roadhouse, and it was slammed, and we're pull up, and then somebody's pulling out of one of the spots right up front. So it's a simple thing, but what is something in your life that is very simple that you'd like to change? It wouldn't take a huge monumental effort, but you could change your identity in that area. And that for me, that's the key. Take our energy, take our resources, take what we have to work with, and create an experience that actually changes how you see yourself. I give the analogy quite often, but if you're terrible at throwing darts and you cannot hit a bullseye, if you line up and throw 1,000 darts or 2,000, how many ever it takes to hit the bullseye, once you hit the bullseye, you can now identify as a person who can hit the bullseye. And then you work that process even more. Maybe it takes you half the the times to hit the bullseye. Now you're the guy that hits the bullseye more often, and you just continually work that process. And that's what that's the thing I enjoy working with people on, is identifying these experiences they're having. A lot of times they're having experiences they don't even realize, but just pointing that out, just making sure they understand that that took place, changes how they see themselves. And, like I said, yesterday, a lot of times, people can have a bad experience, and it can, somebody could be a really successful person and have a bad experience, and it changes how they define themselves. And then all of a sudden, the person that seemed to be able to create success out of nothing can't create success for nothing. So something for you guys to think about today. How good is your parking place? So I will see you guys back here in the morning. Have a great Tuesday.